If you're enjoying this video so far and maybe even learning something new, take a quick second to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And hey, don't forget to smash the notification bell icon. If you're on Mac with Apple Silicon and you want fast native Linux containers without Docker Desktop, Apple's new Container CLI is here. Today, I'm going to install the latest release. Two to the commands, build a tiny Python web server, and push from a registry. Let's get started. Why Apple Container? It's an Apple-built CLI written in Swift, optimized for Apple Silicon and produce OCI images. So your images work across the registries and other runtimes. So under the hood, it uses Apple containerization with the virtualization framework. Each container is a lightweight VM and for the strong security on the macOS. Pros and cons. Native on the macOS with Apple Silicon performance and the tight on the OS integration. The OCI compatibilities like pull from the Docker Hub, GHCR, like push images you built. The stronger isolation via per container VM approach is great for the security. There are cons as well, like official support targets macOS 26, like older versions aren't supported by maintainers. So features limited on the flaky on the macOS 15. So DNS networking issues are there. You can check out the official documentation forum page of the Apple. So each container spins up its own kernel, heavier RAM footprint than sharing on the kernel. So there is a desktop version as well for the Docker. You can go ahead and check the example as well. The project is pre 1.0 and evolving, like breaking changes can occur between minor versions. So there is some few versions coming up. You could check out the Apple designated GitHub webpage as well. So there are some requirements and the latest release. It needs to have the Apple Silicon Mac on the Mac OS 26 for the full support of it. And the latest release is 0.6.0. Let's get started. Just before starting, in the terminal window, we're going to check if the container is installed or not. Just typing the command containers and rechecking by container command. So currently, there's nothing installed on my PC, so it will be a clean installation at the moment. So let's move ahead to the GitHub page of the Apple container. Let's open the web page and type in the Apple container in the search bar, and you should see the designated page with the Apple container in the GitHub page. So once you toggle to the page, you should see on the right side, there are some releases, and the latest release is 0.6.0 at the moment on October 27, 2025, which was released. So download the signed installer from the release page. So once you download the latest release 0.6.0, the signed installer, and once it's downloaded, completed, you can see the DMG file in the downloads. So right click and open it and follow the installation process. So follow the step-by-step, accept the license and follow the next steps as well. Once it's completed, following all the steps and done, go back to the GitHub page and follow the README document. So there will be a lot of information in the README document, like how to create a container, what are the commands, output, and things like that. And right click on the page, on start with it and open and scroll down, you will see the README document and you will see most of the information present there. And once you follow the instructions and like download the latest signed installer package and things like that and install or upgrade. And this container is supported on the Mac OS 26. So since it takes advantage of new features and enhancement to virtualization. First step is like start the system service with the container system start command. And once it's done, we would move down to the page. Let me maximize the page here so that it will be easy to view the complete context of it. Yeah, that's the command, which is container system start. Let me clear with the command and paste it here and reconfirm that's the right command and hit enter. And it will ask for the permissions. Hit Y for yes, and the installation process will start. and after the download, the installation would complete. And just to keep this in mind, the process would take some time to download and move ahead depending upon your internet speed. And once it's completed, we will go to the next steps. That will be like right click on the page which says next steps. Under the next steps, you take a guide tour of containers by building, running, and publishing a simple web server image. And once you open that, you will be able to see some of the instructions on the page itself. So there'll be complete tutorial guide for building, running, and publishing a simple web server. We'll follow all the steps. As we completed already starting the container service, we'll move on to the next step on the container system listing the container list. So verifying the applications is working by running some of the commands like listing all the containers. Let me clear it and type in this command. And by default, there are no containers or there's no output, it's an empty list. And then we will check from the other command, which is like help command, which is container base --- help. So what it does is like it will get the help from the CLI itself and by appending the help option. Now move on to the next topic, which is abbreviations. Let's see if there is anything which we could do in the containers. So let me just type in the command like container space images to see if there are any images, because we have not done anything with it. So we see that the plugin is missing, not found. So let me do another command by container space --- version. So I see the version is right. That's the version which we have installed it. Let me go back to clear it and type in the container pull image as well. And I see the plugins are still missing. So what's the next step here is like we need to set up a local DNS domain as well. So what it does is like it includes an embedded DNS service that simplifies access to our containerization application. If you want to configure a local DNS domain name test, this is the steps what you're going to follow. Just copy the sudo container system DNS create test and container system property set DNS dot domain space test. So once that's done, you will see the output as test. And let me clear it through the command and let me go back to the GitHub page. Once it's completed, go back to the next step, which is like building an image, like set up a Docker file for a basic Python web. So let's do that now. We need to create a directory and change or move into the directory itself, the web test. Once it's completed, in the web test directory, we need to create a file named Docker file. So let's use the editor, which is Vim editor. Inside that, I'm going to copy the complete commands, which is the content on the Docker file itself. Docker file and hit enter. I'm going to insert with the I, and then I'm going to copy everything from the GitHub with the content for the Docker file. And once I do the insert and then paste it, Control V, and recheck everything is fine, and then save the file with the :WQ exclamation mark. And once it's done, move back to the GitHub page and follow the instructions for the container building. And it's because we're going to follow the build the web server image. So run the container build command to create an image with the name web test from your Docker file. Let me just clear it and then type in the command as well, and followed by this. And it will take some time to fetch the build kit image and follow up on all the other information. As a root of the build context, you can copy files within the build context with your image using the copy command in the Docker file. After the build completes, list the images. You should see both the images like once it's completed. Just type in the command docker image list and you should be able to see that Python and the web test images as well. And this will conclude that these images are downloaded. Now we need to run these containers. So using the container images, run a web server and try out a different way on the interaction with it. And what we're going to do is we're going to run the command container run name with the my web server and detach with rm web test. Once it's done, we're going to use like detach flag, run the containers in the background so that you can continue running the command in the same terminal. The rm flag causes the container to be removed automatically after it stops. When you list the containers now with the my web server, it presents along the container that contains container would start. So let's do the container ls command to see if there are any containers running. So I'm sure there'll be two containers like buildkit and my web server. There you go. And now the next step is really crucial to understand this. It's like we are opening the website using the container IP address. I'm going to quickly check the IP address, by typing the command of the container ls. And this will give me some information of the container IP address as well. So it matches with the container IP address as well, which is like 192.168.64.3. So I'm going to open this, copy it and paste it here in the terminal, and there should be a window popping up. So currently it's not, but let me do it manually. Open the browser and type in the IP address in the address bar. And I can see like hello world. There you go, in the white background. Yeah, so let's move. This is crazy. Yeah, but we achieved it. So now we're going to do that same activity by opening with the HTTP with my web server.test as well. So there's an issue. So I'm going to open it to the web browser itself and by pasting it directly into the web browser. And there is few other things keeping in mind running the other commands in the container. You can run other commands in my web server by using the container exec command. To list the files under the content directory, just run the container exec my web server ls/content, and it will straight away show you the index.html file under the hood. And if you want to poke around in the container, run a shell and issue one of the more commands as well. Let's get inside the container itself and see what's happening there. So let's exec inside the container. So using the exec -tty and also interactive flag allows you to interact with the shell from your host terminal. And you could see like you're inside the host terminal itself now. And let's do a quick ls and you'll see like index.html. You can also go through some of the other commands to find out what is happening. And I'm going to check vi, and I'm going to type in vi space index.html file to check what is inside the file itself. Once it's done, I'm going to just quit the file and exit from the terminal itself. And you can follow the other steps as well from the documentation. So you will often see some of the two options like specified together here. So now let's move on to the next topic, is access the web server from another container. So this you can do it following up from these steps, but currently I'm not going to follow this. I'm going to follow a few other steps, which I'm going to check the container list and then stop the containers. So this will be a short video at the moment. So scroll down till the end where you could see for the cleanup part where you can stop the containers and shut down the application itself. But before doing that, make sure you follow the exact steps. You don't want to, while your containers running a different commands. So just do container space list space - all itself. And once it's done, you'll see the containers and then go to the next step, which is stop the container services. When you want to stop the containers completely, run that command. Once you do that, it will take some time. You will see all the list of information coming through that the containers are stopping. And once it's completed, all the containers have been stopped and the containers services stop. This video helpful. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Good Shoes. Stay tuned for more tech tips and tutorials. See you in the next one.